I'm Cheryl. I've been a software engineer, an engineering manager, technology executive at some of the world's biggest tech companies like Google and Apple. I spent 3 years working full-time in open source at the Linux Foundation, and I want to share 3 things that I learned in my time as VP at one of the fastest growing open source foundations ever. So here's the 3 things that I learned. After CNCF you could be, failure is an option, treat your career like a portfolio. So the first one is after CNCF you could be, and it comes from when I was interviewing to join the Cloud Native Computing Foundation, which is a sub-foundation of the Linux Foundation. I was sitting in my kitchen waiting for this telephone interview, feeling a bit nervous, a bit butterflies in the stomach, and the phone rang, and I pick up, and I go, "Hi, this is Cheryl," and this voice booms back, like, "Hi Cheryl, I'm Dan Khan, Executive Director of CNCF. After you leave CNCF, you could be Executive Director of your own foundation, or you could found your own company, or you can move into VC." And I didn't know what to say. I was like, hold on, I haven't even spoken one word to you. I thought I was supposed to be persuading you that I could do this job. I've never been to an interview where the first thing they say is, well, once you're done with this job, you can do something else. Working with Dan Cohn though, I learned that that's exactly how he thought about things. He was never about, are you good enough to do something? Instead, he was always thinking, how can I set you up so that in the future, you have even more opportunities to do the things you want, the things that you can't necessarily do right now. And I try and apply that mindset to all of my interactions. When you have a bit of success, think about how you can share those opportunities and pass them on to others. It's always made a really big difference in my career when someone says, I'm going to take a chance on you, because I believe that you're capable of doing it, even if you haven't done it before. And I feel very lucky and privileged to be able to do that for other people. And it's really important in open source because people don't report to you. People are not your employees. Instead, you have to work with people and think about how you can help them and help set them up for the future. The second lesson comes from about a month after I started there. And I was trying to figure out, what am I doing here? What is the highest priority that I should do? And I talked to a lot of people, and I came up with a list of a dozen different things, and I pitched them in this meeting, a one-to-one meeting with Dan. And he listened to me carefully, and then he simply told me, failure is an option. In other words, there was no point in agonizing over this list and trying to figure out which ones were perfect. The only way to find out was to try a lot of different things and get comfortable with some of them failing. I've definitely had failures in my careers. Mostly people don't remember those. People remember the things that I launched that really became successful. Open source relies on people who aren't afraid to put themselves out there, put their ideas out there, take a risk. Failure is an option. So get out there, try new things, go to events, introduce yourself to people, and build out in the open. And my third story comes a few years later when I was a bit more established within the open source community, and people were approaching me and saying, we want you to come and speak for us, we want you to come and advise for our startup. And I asked the CTO, is it okay for me to do this kind of work outside of the foundation? And he said, treat your career like a portfolio. In other words, diversify. None of us would sell everything that we own and put it into crypto or a single company. But usually when you work for a company, you have to put 100% of your time into that one company. So how do you square those two things? And the answer is community. The more people you know, the more opportunities you'll find over time. Treat your career like a portfolio, diversify. Those opportunities will come to you that you wouldn't have found yourself. So those are the 3 things that I learned from working full-time in open source. So after CNCF you could be, set other people up for future success. Failure is an option. Get comfortable with failure, try new things. And treat your career like a portfolio. Diversify and meet people outside of your current team, outside of your organizations, so you can find those hidden opportunities. Good luck with your open source journey. I'm Cheryl Hung. You can reach me at oicheryl.com.